Okay, this is day 33, part 2, and I'm going to focus on the fires today, and I'm going to read my little intro, so if someone comes across this video, they have some idea about what these are about. I take every day to share a message of a day or thought in the life of me as a schizophrenic, and practice camera presence. I've come to the realization that if I was going to describe myself to others, I am an itty-bitty writer who experiences schizophrenia. It is a reality to be experienced. I have much of the experience can be explained by coming into contact with systems and operations and technologies that are highly advanced or modern. And I am now a brain-damaged author who was a one-time semi-activist, and I am writing a book on technology and society, psychological operations, and political surveillance. This technology, political surveillance, and psychological operations has resulted in me having a schizophrenic functioning of my mind. I'm actually the recipient of political warfare, what NATO calls cognitive war, and what the chief of Indian intelligence calls neurostrike, which is the Chinese term for neurological weapons. And also, this chief of Indian intelligence says that common people are the targets of these tactics. Okay, so the fires are going on right now, and if I was going to talk about them, I would have to say that that's very concerning. They're very close nearby. Uh, a lot of people were talking and saying stuff like, "Oh, I've been in the fires before and nothing ever happened, and I was a fire a few years ago, but we just recently saw 50 people burn to death in Los Angeles." So I'm not too calm, cool, and collected in a dangerous situation to where I will think like, 50 people is no big deal to me. So I was a little bit nervous today. It feels like we're in a different kind of reality with the potential of these winds picking up. The news comes on, and they say stuff like the fire can go nuclear or something. That's what CNN had the headlines that said new fire in Los Angeles has the potential to quote go nuclear. And it almost feels like a threat of some kind. It's kind of a weird way to describe it. And I will say this. I wanted to say this. I wrote it out, but I'm gonna say it out. And basically, we are in a precarious situation when large swaths of our society want to see the thing burn. And this is because it is so dysfunctional and there is such dissatisfaction in our civilization. 9 people have been arrested for arson in Los Angeles since the fires originally broke out a couple weeks ago. And there have been more people that have been arrested for arson in California over the past few years, including members of the own fire department. And then I shared recently that the person in charge of safety for Los Angeles was calling bomb threats into the government. Combine this with the fact that HAARP or Russian technology or Chinese technology or corporate technology or private corporations, private political organizations that have satellites in the sky, and they can manipulate weather, and you have potential for weather warfare, and you have splinter groups within the United States government itself, which could also want to see the whole thing crumble. We literally had a guy do the Nazi salute to the nation or to the world from the podium of the inauguration of the President of the United States of America. And that is quite a fucking statement. So, then you have the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, who are Jewish Anti-Defamation League, and they're saying like, oh no, he didn't mean it, or he's I don't know. Some people were throwing out that he's autistic or something, or it's just like gaslighting you into not taking it seriously. And I'm sorry, but I'm just not for that. Los Angeles may have many people that want to watch it burn, and you can't be at war with the whole world and expect your civilization to function. So those are my thoughts on the fire as it sits right now. Uh, and then on top of it, you have global warming. You have all kinds of stuff going on all over the world, with floods and weather related events. And so you have a combination of things where like the weather can be manipulated since the 1960s, and we are weaponizing the planet just by the fact that we're polluting the damn thing. And it's creating a ripe situation where the earth can be weaponized, because all you have to do is light a match and the whole thing will just take off and burn because it's so dry, because there's been a drought. And so, it's a combination of things that are going on right now. And I was also going to say things like, people are concerned with the fact that the Republicans are Nazis. And I think that it's very necessary that people acknowledge that Republicans embrace Nazism. You cannot do a Nazi salute from the podium and then tell me you're voting for Trump because he's anti-Nazi, or he's pro-Jewish, or uh, he's Americana. He's embracing a fascist $400 billion person. And when you say drain the swamp, what do you mean? Is that like code for some Nazi fascist takeover? Like people that people that care about people with disabilities, people that care about people who are LGBTQ. Like it's very clear that something is going on with Trump with regards to Nazism, and he praised Hitler's generals coming into office, and it's just like, stop gaslighting us, and start taking responsibility. Now, that being said, Democrats have to take responsibility too, because they ran the government like a dictatorship for the last decade. And you cannot run the country like a dictatorship from your point of view and then expect the Republicans to not come in and embrace tyranny on their side. So it's the natural evolution that for the Republican Party, but logically where it's going to go, it's going to embrace Nazism if you just look at it over the past 20, 30 years or whatever. And so the Democrats share blame here because they came in and they took control of the government on in a tyrannical fashion. And you can't embrace tyranny for you and expect the other people not to have tyranny too. So that breaks down the normal situation for the country. And so, but people need to not deny the fact that Republicans embrace Nazism. So, really, we're all to blame here by allowing our parties to engage in these tyrannical maneuvers that they've gone to over the past few years, the past decades or so. And, it culminates in what's going on now. And I talked in a previous video about the fact that the Iraq War itself could have been a whole operation to push us towards Nazism, and they held up Iraq as a. It was all I think it was all designed because there's multifacetation to war. There's propaganda that emanates out of war, and the propaganda is the purpose of the war, because that's Big Brother running the show. And so you have a situation where they held Iraq out as a victim, even though it was a tyrannical state or whatever. So they said, Iraq's a victim here, and that the way they ran the propaganda, it alluded to the fact that, maybe Nazi Germany was a victim because America is a big bad guy. And the culmination is now we have a Nazi giving the salute from the podium of the United States of America. And everybody needs to just take a step back and say, do we really want to go down this road of destruction as a earthly civilization? And that's the helicopter going up overhead. And so, we have to come to the conclusion that we have to be constructive in our actions. And I don't think that people are thinking very constructively right now. They're thinking about destroying. And what comes out of the ashes of destruction is usually some sort of way crazy fucking tyranny. Uh, and so if you think that you're going to destroy because you're going to do this creative destruction like the neocons thought, or something like if you destroy, it's creative destruction, that was the idea that the neocons came up with. And I don't personally believe it. Uh, it's gonna, you can't discount every aspect of control and building that you did as a civilization. You have to improve upon it. You have to pivot and go away from some things, and that's okay. Yes, you need to, but just destroying everything and expecting the world to rise out of the ashes is why we're here in the first place as human beings, because empires thought that they could just destroy each other and what rose out of the ashes would be better than what was left. And I don't know that cyclical process that human beings engage in. uh, I guess I'm thinking about it right now, and I don't know if the cyclical process is really that great of a process to engage in as this creative destruction. And so I guess that's something to think about. That's something to think about in future little talks here, in my talking out my thoughts or whatever as a schizophrenic. But yeah. And then as we get into the schizophrenic reality, the fire started today at 10:30, and I ate my lunch early today at 10:30. I had salmon and avocado, and I ate that time because I got hungry, and I was about to go on a hike with my mom and dad for training for the Camino. And so I ate early because I didn't want to get hungry on the trail. And yeah, so uh, there's the coordination with my actions and the fires and whatever terrorist group is doing these things. And I explained yesterday, I demonstrated earlier today how KUSC was watching me in my house, or the AI was watching both me and KUSC, and it manipulated our brains for me to read about flying in a dream and KUSC to talk about flying in a dream 15 minutes later while I put my headphones on. So, yeah, the AI is watching, or people are watching. And anyways, I'm not really thinking this creative destruction process that people think is the answer to our problems is really that great of an answer. It's not really an answer. It's not really a solution. It's just like it's like you can't fix something, so you just say fucking blow it up or something. Or you can't fix something, so you say destroy the whole thing and stuff. And yeah, so we'll see what happens out of this, but I'm not thinking it's that good of an idea. So, anyways, the fire is going on. I'm gonna stay up tonight, and I was just gonna share these little thoughts here before I forgot them. So there you go.